to nyalem to nga kata bakele lu ngala molbe ya kata fele because ndamam buka keno gaminol be ya mutan fe 2024 kaje ko the crime rate at least afuta nyaaw nya jitale anto la kasabiroto bay di kasabirole only have different opinions but nga cross le fana kabin 2025 la beginning ala till and into the beginning nga jele we have seen a few of crime ni alon ko yimol silando mandi because amake kutim yalon ko dalta kaaje nyim banko kan wala nyapi kan wala kasoro baranya pin kan me yalon ko akidi malem mol ka boy mol la na fulol kan sako ka dum banko no ma fanene mon soto jande bari ntela dindi ya kono makalamuta hade what sort nga soto le ko di because anene ka soto le nunjang ni hakli ba kan jaaw el membe be kama ma fawon monene ka nyapi kan ne musabu kamala police won ni essentiel tiol nata ka d'accord amanke wol dammanti bari bunda jamal ni police nyanta ka d'accord sako surtout bundal men yalon ko kudol le ka mabuji wala ana nyangol wato men na mol la tani na talata je comme suto pour ka tanka ka police so men yalon ko kata wudinkira sifalto boko essentiel to so in farafene danaka abina karo sila sign nyapin kannal le nata katu ngaji wala nyama mol le nata me hapolo bari ngal ne ko siyata kita essentiel me yalon ko GMPC men be farafene pour ka nyapi kan but fortunately or unfortunately yenna mol taraji men yalon ko wolde kataraji gat la suto ini ye keso murundi nyola wolem kabina te ka yatra ko mol le ito nin kartu sol nata akamunda keso en mo mala wala itandiro ke kaje ko munki di sifale ito nin kartu sol nata kartu sol fay na mol fana men video fana kido fana fay kan bari ntol mang any evidence do ka foko fon nak mole men fay foye mo male baydi ni ke soye mo maskino yelo dano bon silo kan wala ana nyongol bari o sabu kamma aketa kuti mi alon ko ina ta bori mon continue wala e man succeed no ila ngani o menti nga woje bari ama hani mi ko tanke dron nga nyongo fanaje me alon ko nyin silo ita brictio le o keta no farafe sa ita fo CRR e ka wada men nyaw me alon ka be boda balale nyaw sati do ko badi nyawol ka siale wokono dami fana nyapin kan wala kiji fana mun na biti ko ka mun na fulolta ani kila kulolta and nyeme yitandi ay silanda yitandi o fanna la baake bari nga kala mu telefona ko wo borderline o aketa ku dimi yana ko nga problem musu je baake andu o manya na mo surprise la because ngana ko borderline lem yana transnational crime organized crime mu felet men yalon ko jamal kasabin kan ko fanna la ka bol ka dum sate lo kono do fana kasabin kan ke Senegal ka dum kana Gambia kan woketa le num anu wato men woketa wala siata je na Gambia police force bundale yele men yalon ko wala paramilitary ye samba je pour kaje ko menu biji pour se semben tu ya wote mo kono fudulani yesumaya mbe wo fana kono ngamira amahani faso mo le faunu nga moy na Bruce be jam fana access bank ngam aran talankilin kara tanan fula kan kibawo ka foko mo le nyapin kanke access bank de akuni ngala ke jafaro warta baydi amang hani lo kunsi wala ti dantan doron nga nyongo moy bantala dami anka jam futa mo la sai na tan capital wolto and unfortunately within that hour montro wati kilin ko le boda access bank doron nga kala muta wato men amane montro wato singa moy ko tenke ko Western Union me yalon ko fana ni man jam fanyola kita mo le nata ko ataka do ke Western Union do mo le nata kan and preliminary investigation we can do fanna la wole mba korosi kan na sai because we don't want to be conclusive but in essence akamunta niya korosi mol men yalon ko yim barol ke akamunta mo mollete men yalon ko ila ye korosi do ke baake badi kurungol le ya famle anu kurungol mo yankala do ko molde donc aka karanna aka lo anyanta ka ke nyame anu molde men yalon ko fana yendol fana study as a society yendol fana study as a security force the Gambia police force because they would have to want to understand our response time our response strategy and all that and what jumale fana wo wato ikaje mol be katria façon hajulla kato mo talan kilinga na talan fula sali wato man jamfa domoro wato man jamfa men do ko le be relax kan and all that so nyimmo mo le men yalon ko they seems to be a kind of a professional ya family so but like I said detail of that would come ni atara ko nada ngalo nga kala mutala ko nyin tembento kibarol dul funtita social media to kaje ko e kafme ko CCTV footage men yalon ka funtita le mo li la on conclusive statement ol dile kaje ko nyinde ni atara ko kulem de wala akamunda nyin kulem mulata me yalon ko nyomo yo ba kono ni mol la men yalon ko o mol la opinion ne that's not the position of the police but the position of the police is that fengo fe men kabe dendi wo fannal la kabo CCTV la ani mol men ko akata wala nyala baydi mo sotata men nata police o kan kaytande ko nyinde itol yaa jele ko be dun kan ko ma bundal la kabe dun tan ko ma bunda o mu forolde dun ko ma bundala nyanta kamen ke yake within less than 5 minutes nyanta kamen ke ya beki e funtani bunda bala e dunta taxi e dunta moto kono Benz me yalon ka man number plate so e dunta wo kono tata but adanta wala among doing into detail as to the explain as far as we know at the moment so wo ko la ro nyin fanana take kuti me yala keta I may yitande don wolem ko we have a problem. And the problem is that not the Gambia police force damang task no because it's a national security issue, it's a national security matter.
Yeah, but mo jamal be foka piara wala min diko sa nyil be bu molleti mi alon ko nyi robbery kele e Canada. Imam muta. Police be mu nekk kan science because hani say mang arrest mo ko aketa ni robbery be mi keta.
Ha nyim fanna la menu keta nyaw ani men keta farafenya ani men keta men keta kombo jang robbery nani hani be nyin temendo as I speak mang information on sort of follow kay tandiko kadle nyinki and all that men ka fodro wolem ko Gambia de man nyin long ya fam nyin ani men kamuli akamunta ko na lallem.
What about the one big happened in Bond Road?
That one is not reported as a robbery. I'm not sure.
Exactly.
It's not reported
as a crime.
Yeah. It's a crime, but
yes.
not reported as robbery.
But I think it was
No, I'm not saying he should not talk about it.
No, but I just want.
I read their statement.
It was
not
because what happened was that was an escape of Fonko. That is the latest.
Yeah,
that one was the latest. So because that was a kind of confrontation.
We can talk about it. Let's finish with what we are dealing with. Yes, we can get to that. Okay. So let's just finish with this. So in essence, because the responsibility of the Gambia police force, of any force, is part of our function first, is to protect life and property. That is to prevent crime. Where we can't, we have to investigate and apprehend and prosecute. This is our function. And yes, people can have different opinion as to why it actually happened. Security lapses, police all thing. We have heard about them. But what is important now is what is the way forward? This had happened. What is the way forward? And the way forward is what the Gambia Police Force is doing. First is investigating. We need to understand why this happened. Who are these people? For us to be able to understand how we can be able to address this. This is why this is very important to the Gambia Police Force, because a lot of allegations have been said about this. Whether our own homegrown, you talked about so many things here earlier. Are they homegrown? Are these people who actually came into this country? Are they foreigners? Two, if they are, whether they are a combination. These are important facts so that we can be able to. And again, it's a lesson for us in general, but not only the Gambia Police Force, but even business owners, banks and all that. They were not targets. They don't used to be targets. Targets were the shopkeepers and the borders and all. Now that they have been included, and I think it's important that we collaborate with them, we work with them. This is what is happening, and this is the way forward. As I speak at the moment, we don't have, or I don't have any update where it is indicated that they've been apprehended or whatsoever. Yes. So coming to the specific, the latest that Sonko is talking about. Initially, when we had at the headquarters at first, we equally had that allegedly robbery. That's what we had, you understand? And when we also heard about the sort and everything, I am one of those people who celebrated. Because I'm like, okay, we got them. But that was just outside what people were saying. We got them because that was a plus. Because if we already have been having a series of this, attacks and, robberies and all that, and now it's been rumored. Yes, now it's rumored that, attempted robbery, and something like that, then yes, that's a celebration. Yeah. So when our officers went on the ground to actually understand, because this is important to us, it's important to the country, for us to really understand what happened, then we got to understand that the scenario is totally different. It's not an armed robbery at all. It was a problem. It was an issue between the staffers and people who actually would either come to buy there or to park. It started with that chaos around that. And like I said earlier, it's a fuel station, it's a JAL fuel station. And we have our officers attached to all of this place, and we have 2 officers there who would spend the night there. They come in the evening and they'll be there till in the morning. And their responsibility is to maintain the security. Because already, remember, have at the back of your mind what happened a few days ago or a few weeks ago. So you'll be able to contextualize what is about to happen or what has been explained. Because sometimes people tend to, talk about things out of context. Basically, yes, I'm not excusing what happened, but what I'm trying to say is that we have to understand that police officers are at high alert to ensure that they maintain the security of the people and properties of people, especially that very day. When this confrontation happened and the officers were on the ground, they have their own place where they are until this could not be managed. And one of the officers came to ensure that it is handled properly. You understand? And it was actually not being able to be handled. And according to the report that we received, it was escalating to a level that the other officer had to come. It was not the case because people thought it was the case that these people could not handle. They called backup from the barracks. Then those people came with their weapon and they just shot at them. No, these were two officers who were posted there. And when it was escalating, the second person came, but this time came with a weapon.
Yeah.
You remember the incident that happened in Burfoot?
Yeah, it was escalating.
You remember the incident that happened in Burfoot when our police officers were stabbed in the... both of them stabbed because they just came out just like, what is happening here? Before you know it.
They were stabbed.
And the other one also came the same. We need to learn from history. You understand? So when he came, when he came, you know, and it was escalating. He could not handle this and they were advancing. And what report we had is Kurubaro. I don't know what is Kurubaro in English. How do you
Kurubaro.
That's Kuruba. That's the
okay, fine. When they came and they were having that and they were advancing towards this person with weapon, what are their intentions? Who are these people? What training do they have? We don't know. We have no background. It's the officer's responsibility to be able to make a decision on the spot. Because that decision alone can be able to save the life of everybody, or that decision alone can lead to the death of everybody. Because we don't know.
Okay.
So
go ahead.
So when that happened, when they were advancing and they were asked to stop, and this officer reported that 3 shots were given, 1 shot were given. And I think that's the funny part. How could you advance towards somebody with a weapon? You know, it's a police officer in uniform with a weapon. And you know this is a police officer. You're advancing with an arm towards that police officer. 1 shot being given, but you still advance. The police officer, what he did at the moment was what he could able to do was to disable the person. And was able to disable the person, then they took him to the hospital. Others ran away and others were arrested and taken to Banjul. This is what happened.
They came with weapon there?
Actually, what I mean by weapon in this case is that
the Kurubaro is the only weapon.
Yes, because who knows? Because one, I cannot sit there and guess the training of this person. When it's coming to disarm me,
and now only 2 police officers.
Yes,
only there.
Because I mean, many times we've been you know, police all man train, police all thing how you know, and all that stuff. You know, so a lot of things are happening.
How many of them are arrested?
Yeah, as far as I know, it was 3. The one that was shot, taken to the hospital, 2. Then later, another 1 fought.
So was arrested.
Yes.